Hi, welcome to my channel. Most of you would recognize this. Yes, it's an AR-7 stock / case. It's been around for a few generations, and over the years it has changed constantly. Last by Henry, and they've done a pretty good job. They thought of everything except one thing: how to keep it secure while it is in its stock. In other words, how to use any of these locking devices and still maintaining its compactness. When you remove the receiver and use, for instance, this device, how do you put it back in? There's not enough room. Yes, you can remove the bolt or place the entire stock in another secure case, but there you go. Now you got two cases. While it's true, I don't know all the gun laws in the world, so I recommend my idea be used as an added security and not to replace whatever you're currently using in your jurisdiction. So please check with the gun laws of your region prior to making this locking device. This device cost me actually less than $1 and an hour to make. So let's begin. Okay, I'm back from a local hardware store, and all they had is this 3/4 inch wide, 1/8 of an inch thick, and this 3-foot section cost me $5 US, but all I needed is about 85 millimeter long. And then I'll bend it to 90 degrees, 3 sections. The first section will be 30 millimeter long, 10 millimeter wide. Second section is 40 millimeter long, 15 millimeter wide, and the last section is 15 millimeter long. It will end up looking like this. This is a sample I made. It looks like a Z pattern. Okay. Of course, this is just a test sample. It's not thick enough, but it will comfortably slide below the bolt. As you can see, there's a space below it. It goes in there and will come out through the mag well, and then this lock will lock in place. Okay, so I'll have to use the hand grinder and cut this. Okay, I'm back. I used the hand grinder and I just did the rough outline. Okay, got close to those felt pen markers, and then I used a hand file and I got right to the line, and that's what it looks like. The next thing I'm going to do is cut this off. All I need is this section, and then I'll bend this section down and this section up. So it would look like this. Okay, it would look like that. And then I'll drill a hole right about here, and then I'll try it out. I'll be back. I do have plans to cold blue this, so I took the opportunity while it's flat, before it was bent, to sand the surface. Otherwise, this original surface is not good for bluing. So I sanded it with the hand grinder. It just took a couple of minutes, as you can see. Now I have to put the lines back in. So I'm going to use a felt pen and put the lines. And one is right here, and I can just basically go according to the one's right there, and one's right here. I have to make sure it's straight. One's right here. Let's make sure that this is straight. Yes, it is straight. And then one should be about, I would say, right about here. A little bigger won't hurt. I can always grind it down. Okay, now I'm gonna have this cut and bent and cold blued. I'll be back. I am done. After I sanded the surface, I used a hand file and I rounded off all the edges and the corners so it wouldn't scratch the alloy receiver. Okay, and then I also had to bevel this top part of this long section And the reason why, because it had to sit comfortably inside this bolt. As you can see, this is what it looks like if it was inside the receiver. And then the lock goes into this hole right here. Okay. Okay. So after I beveled the top part right here, I put this in a vise and I use a torch to heat this area right here, and then I hammered this down. And then I heat this area right here and I hammered this section up. Okay. And then I re-sanded it because they had all that scorch mark. I had to remove that again, and then I had to drill a hole right about here. Okay, now and then after that, I blued it, and then I decided to paint about 3 or 4 coats of paint. That will act like an insulator. It will insulate the steel from the alloy so it wouldn't scratch the inside. Okay, so now I'm going to reassemble this. I'm going to show you how it's installed. Okay, let me put this back in first. It goes like this. Okay. And this goes in like that. Okay. Now, to install this, it's really simple. You pull the charging handle out with your thumb, pull the bolt back, grab this piece by the, now this is the short upper end. Okay, now you need to put the one with the hole in the receiver, and then like that. As you can see, it's right there. And then it slides down, and then you release your bolt. And if you look inside that mag well, that is the piece where this lock, there's a hole I drilled there. Now the location of the hole will depend on your lock. Okay. Now where the hole goes is where this, if you put your lock like this, the main body of the lock has to be on the outside, and the U shape, the tip, if you do it this way, is where you would drill the hole. And as you can see, the tip of this U shape is in line with this groove right here. So that piece that came down is where I roughly estimate where the hole should be, and I drill the hole right there. Now to install this lock is very simple. Move this piece forward like that, and you see this front piece came out. Okay, and the reason why I bent this is that it blocks the barrel from coming in. So, and now I insert this. Remember, the body has to be on the outside, allowed to pivot, and now I am in that hole. Now that it's in that hole, I can push the front of this locking device down, and now I can pivot the lock out, and there it is. Now I can push this in, and now it's locked and secure. There's no way this locking device piece is coming out. It also blocks the front from the barrel from coming in. Can't use the barrel, and there's no way. This piece is too big to come out from the front, and now with that piece there is too big to come down. So it's pretty darn secure. How easy is to remove it? You unlock the lock first. Okay. Bend this lock forward. Okay. Now take something like this, or you can reach in with your fingernail, and actually if I had to do it again, I'll make this piece a little bit longer so I could reach in with my finger. Actually, I can still reach in with my finger. If I made it longer, then I wouldn't have to use a tool. Okay, so now I move that piece forward. As you can see, that's coming out, and the lock comes out. Now I'm going to pull the bolt back, and I'm going to push this piece, and there it is. the locking piece has come out. Okay, so this is the original test piece, as you can see. This is skinny metal, it won't qualify. This is 3mm or 1/8 of an inch, and the improvement I made is that this piece is longer, and the next one I make, of course, would be another 1/4 inch longer. And so that's what I would do. I would recommend, instead of doing 30mm, do 35mm. Okay, so it wouldn't hurt to have it a little bit longer, just easier to reach and move it forward. So let's put this back in again, and then I'll put it back in the case. Okay, so here goes the bolt back. Slide that in. Okay, release the bolt. Take the lock. See, if I made this longer, I can reach in and just push that forward, and then insert that in the hole. Push this back. Pivot the lock. Lock is secure. Now, make sure your lock is not too large that it won't fit in this hole. Now it fits in this hole. There it is. And now I can, there it is. Wonderful, right? This locking device now secures the receiver and within its original case. Check with your gun laws in your area to make sure that this qualifies. So therefore, I'm only recommending this as an additional security. Okay, so as you can see, it's pretty secure and it's in its own original case. So thank you very much for joining me, and please subscribe.